Well, Brian, it was a tale of two halves. Colorado put together, I guess you would say, their best half of the 2021 season, but then UCLA comes back and scores 37 unanswered for a 44-20 victory. What are just kind of your quick takeaways from tonight's game?
Yeah, I mean, just awful second half. I mean, that was, I asked Brady Russell if he's ever been a part of a game that was so good in the first half, so bad in the second. And then I quickly said, well, I guess 2018 Oregon State. And he said, yeah, that was about it. It
Yeah.
was sort of reminiscent of that. And, obviously they didn't have the big lead. And, UCLA is a different team than that. But, the Buffs played a really good first half. They left some points on the board, but the second half was so deflating, and they were just flat out dominated in the second half. No adjustments that we could see by the coaching staff. And it was just, man, what a frustrating second half, and just a really, like I said, deflating second half.
Yeah, the Bruins are now bowl eligible, and this is CU's seventh loss. We kind of expected, hey, this was probably not going to be a bowl team after, I think after the Cal game, you pretty much resigned yourself to the fact that they were not going to go to a bowl game this year. But that means just 3 bowl seasons in 17 seasons. Brian, I know we spent a lot of time around each other. I know that you enjoyed this gig like I do, but it's been tough sledding covering this program here. It's been a tough stretch, and this is yet another season in which the Buffs are going to fall short of expectations.
Yeah, it has been tough sledding, and this is one of the hardest seasons to take in the last several years. I mean, at least when they've gone through those 5 and 7 years before, they were competitive, and there were games you could look at and say, man, they should have been bowl eligible. I mean, I think 17, 18, 19, they should have been bowl eligible. Now last year they were, and this year they have not looked like a bowl team very much. Outside of a game or two here and there, they have not looked like a bowl team. So frankly, this is what they deserve. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but I mean, has not looked like a bowl team most of the year. So it's not surprising they're sitting in this situation. And it's been a hard season to cover, that's for sure.
Jarek Broussard had over 100 yards in the first half. You're thinking, okay, he's going to keep going off here, but he only had 6 yards rushing in the second half. What do you think changed after halftime? I know that CU's coaches and players were kind of at a loss for words in the second half. What was kind of your take on what happened to them, in terms of offensively, defensively in the second half?
As far as Jarrett goes, I mean, I don't put it much on him. I mean, it's kind of the theme of this season that they just don't use Jarrett in the second half for whatever reason. I mean, he's just a non-factor that they don't look to very often. I don't understand why. Not saying that would have made a difference, but that's just kind of a weird thing from this season. But I mean, it was so different. I think that UCLA gained some momentum. I asked Carl Durrell this, but I really thought the game turned at the end of the first half when the 57 seconds left. The Buffs let UCLA drive down to get a field goal. That's a 4th straight game, Adam, that the Buffs have given up a field goal in the last play of the first half. I thought that was momentum changing for UCLA. Gave them some confidence. They took it in the second half, and once the Bruins started getting going, it just snowballed from there. I mean, the UCLA made adjustments, and the Bruins started gashing them up the middle. They started hitting the tight end, Greg Dulcich, with some big plays, and the Buffs couldn't stop it.
Brandon Lewis only had 158 passing yards in this game, Brian, and no touchdowns. I will say, though, watching him out there tonight, you can tell he's a competitor. Like, that doesn't have to be questioned about Brandon Lewis. He's gonna keep competing. Is this, an example that it's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back in terms of his progress as a quarterback?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he is still a freshman. He's still learning, and that's a veteran coaching staff. I know it's a UCLA staff that's under fire right now, but that's a veteran coaching staff. They know what to do against a freshman quarterback, and we saw a senior quarterback versus a freshman quarterback tonight. I think that was the difference. Not the difference. I think that was a difference.
When you talk about a team losing in the fashion that CU did tonight, losing by 24 points, it's not one play. The Vontae Chenault drop on 4th down, though, was a big play. The taunting penalty on Anthony Lyle on kickoff coverage, you just can't do that. You can't stand over a guy and yell in his face after making a good play there. You gotta save that energy for the sideline after you get back there. And then the 4th and 1 with Brady Russell, if it works, then everybody's praising them for creativity. kind of a strange deal. Just, Brady Russell in that situation, and they stacked the box there. I know that he was honest with you guys in the post game and kind of took blame there, but I don't know if there's anybody that would have been as successful in that situation.
Yeah, and actually, I like the call to go for it. I think that it was the right call to go for the first down there because they were bleeding big time, and they needed to stop that. They needed to try to keep their defense off the field at that point. And so I don't blame Carl Durrell for going for it, but yeah, the play call didn't work, and Brady Russell said, "Hey, I've got to get that yard." But at the same time, I feel like a different play call is better in that situation. Don't run it up the middle every single time. And we see some creative play calls around college football on fourth downs, and the Buffs haven't done a lot of that. And this was different. Brady Russell's not run the football, so it's different, but it's still a run up the middle, and tough play call on that one, and that was unfortunate. I think that was it was only 30-20 at that point, but that was sort of the final nail.
I will give credit to Brady Russell for talking with you and Christian Gonzalez as well. I mean, that's a tough spot for those young men. And I know after the Alamo Bowl, there was frustration and those guys weren't allowed to talk. Kudos on CU for at least, having those guys step up and talk. And, it can't be easy for those guys, but Brady Russell, I think he said, it was deflating for sure. It was weird. He was trying to answer your questions post game, but I mean, it was just one of those deals where they were really didn't know how to answer, kind of their second half collapse in this game.
Yeah, they really didn't. And, I asked Carl Durrell what kind of changed. And he goes, well, I don't really have the answers for that. And it was, fans, I'm sure, are going to jump on that answer, but that's a different way of saying, I've got to watch the tape. And, maybe saying I got to watch the tape is a little bit better of an answer than saying I don't really know. Maybe that's why this team is 3-7 right now. It's because this staff can't figure it out in game what's going on and stopping it. So that's an issue. But yeah, I do credit Christian and Brady for getting up and talking. That's not easy. And hey, it's a frustrated fan base right now. It's a frustrated team. It's a frustrated reporter group. So it's not easy being around this program right now.
I guess it's good they're coming back home. Otherwise, you kind of worry about how's this team going to have resolve at this point, right? But you come back home. It's the last game for the guys that are going to be, playing in their last game at CU. It's going to be called senior afternoon, but there's a lot of juniors, Brian, on this team that are not going to be back next year because they're going to make room for this incoming signing class that they're going to have in December and February. So there's still something to play for these guys, but definitely some wind taken out of the sail with tonight's result. Yeah,
I think so. I think up to this point, this team has always been able to. I mean, they're competitors, and they believe they can win every game, even though maybe those of us outside didn't think they could win this one. Probably don't think they could win at Utah. They think they can, and so they're fighting for bowl eligibility up until that last moment. Well, the last moment was tonight, and so I think that when that goal goes away, we're going to see who's really on board with this program, I think. And it's tough to stay in it, I would think, when a big goal like that is out the window. And I asked Brady Russell that, and he said, hey, you just try to stay even keeled. I think that's going to be tough the next 2 weeks. I think it does help that they are at home against a Washington team that hasn't been very good this year.
Yeah, and there still is an opportunity for these young guys on the team to gain more game experience. So it's not just completely out the window. Brian, appreciate you for joining us there from the road, and safe travels back to Colorado.
Thanks. I appreciate it.